Hi, and welcome to the Poultry Nerds podcast. I'm Carrie Blackman, and I'm here with my co-host for the show, Jennifer Bryant, and we're here to help you figure out how to raise the healthiest, happiest, and highest quality birds possible. Good morning, everybody. Today, we're going to make an episode that is geared towards you, the listener. We went back and we looked on our social media and our Facebook direct messages and all that good stuff. And a lot of the questions that you guys have sent us over the last couple of months, we decided to do a podcast because a lot of people, they want to ask questions, but they don't want to ask questions or whatever. So we're just going to throw these questions that we got out there today, and we're going to give our best shot at an answer to help you guys out. All right.
We're going to do rapid fire.
I don't know that rapid fire would work on some of these because some of these, the answers a little probably should be in depth.
Okay.
But we'll do the best we can.
All right. Sounds good. Let's go.
All right. What is the best way to ship hatching eggs?
Egg foam and double box, always. Secure those eggs in there tight and then secure them again.
And so like when you pull the little pieces out of the egg foam and put the egg in, then you use those other pieces to go between the two boxes, right?
Yes. I think the biggest problem or biggest thing they do wrong is they put the egg foam in the box and put the eggs in it and then put the 1/2-inch pads on it, but then they don't fill that empty space. So make sure you fill the empty space so the foam and the eggs can't move around if the box is dropped.
Now, a lot of times, like I've gotten eggs from people before where the box looked like a scrambled egg.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you actually tested that out one time. You put some eggs in packaged the way you're talking about and kicked them around in your barn, didn't you?
In my garage. Yeah, man, I soccer kicked them everywhere.
Did you try to hatch those?
No, I didn't try to hatch them. They were just eating eggs, but I did candle them and the air cells stayed intact.
All right.
Not all of them, or most of them.
So if you use egg foam and double box them and package them correctly, and the post office does what I suspect sometimes is play soccer with your eggs because they see the stickers that say hatching eggs, fragile, handle with care. They're like, oh, let's play soccer. We're bored. If that happens, you're still going to have your air sacs intact. So
I think so.
You'll have a good chance at having a good hatch rate.
You'll have a better chance.
Yeah, better chance. What heating? How do you heat your chicks when they come out? Heat lamps, plates, reptile heaters. What do you use?
Plates are the only way to go. 100%, 1,000%.
So I'm a huge fan of plates myself. If you got a small area, they come in 10 by 10.
Yep.
And if you have a big area, they come in 12 by 12 and you put two of them together.
That's right.
I like it because you can put it way down. The birds get in there. They hover up under it just like they would hover up under their mama. Or, you know what? If they get too hot, they move.
Yeah. I keep mine tilted.
The big problem with the heat lamps is fried birds and fried barns.
Yeah. It
happens. Two big problems. Yep.
People think that's a myth, but just come spring, just watch social media and people will post their burnt down barns.
And then you'll have people like me that say, did you use a heat plate or a lamp? And they're going to tell you about their big red lamp.
I would say 90% of the time somebody says that they don't think a heat plate gets warm enough, that they probably have the brooder on a cold concrete floor.
And we actually have an episode about brooding, and we talk about getting your brooder off the floor, all that good stuff.
Yep. So go back to that one, but plates is the answer.
Yep. All right. Everybody knows what a mud is, what a Heinz 57 is, but what is a barnyard mix or a BYM?
So BYM stands for barnyard mix. and it's just a mutt. It can be a cross of 2 breeds, or it can be a cross of 47 breeds. It does not matter. You start crossing out, it's a barnyard mix.
Now, like a dog, those can be some of your best chickens.
Absolutely.
They can lay you some great eggs that are huge, different colors. They can do all that, and they can outrun some of the fastest predators.
Mm-hmm.
But
Hybrid
at the end of the
vigor.
day, they're going to have some hybrid vigor, because you take 2 birds that are free ranging out in the yard doing whatever teenagers like to do, and that's how that egg gets made.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here's a really good one. I like this one. What's an egg float test? And I see people, everybody talks about, how do I know if my eggs are good? How are they not? Whatever. Somebody's going to comment that. And then 50 people are going to say, what's egg float?
I want to preface this answer with, I have never done it. Have you ever done it?
Yes, I actually have.
What did you learn?
Okay, so for me, I see this question a lot too. How long are your eggs fresh if you leave them on the counter? So I took some and I started writing dates on them. And I told everybody in the house, I said, don't mess with these eggs that I have. I used a silver Sharpie because it was different, because I normally use a pencil or a black Sharpie to label my eggs. I said, don't eat these. And so I kept them, and I was like, okay. It got down to close to the 2 month. And at first I was cracking them. Well, at 2 months, I had one that I don't think that egg was ever good. And it should not have come in the house.
Okay.
Because my daughter will help me gather them. Help, as I'm holding up air quotes. Because sometimes I will go check pens, and when I'm feeding or whatever, I'm like, hey, when's the last time? Oh, I gathered eggs yesterday. And I'm like, I got a pen that has a trio in it. It's got half a dozen eggs in it. And I know that's crap. So I'll preface that. But I had one explode as I tap, boom.
Oh.
And it was like one in an incubator that blew up. It was rough. So after that, I would put them in water and see if they float. And now I've seen different people, if it floats so much, then you need to eat it within a day or two. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that if you're unsure enough that you're resulting to a float test to check them, number one, you should probably eat more eggs. Number two, you have too many chickens. Number three, if it floats any at all, throw it in the garbage. That's just me.
So I think people may misconstrue the purpose of an egg float test. The purpose is to see if it's good or bad, or if it's still viable while you're incubating. So let's start with the incubating question. A bird is already breathing at that point through the air sac and through the porous air shell. So please don't put it in a bowl of water. And then second, the float test, and I did do a little cursory research on this. All it will tell you is how much air is inside of the egg. And that is going to depend on the porousness. Porousness? Is that the right word? Porousness?
Well, that's a long word for Middle
How
Tennessee.
porous an egg is, or is going to be dependent on the species, the hen, the age of the hen, the size of the egg. I mean, there's so many variables there, but it just simply tells you how much air is inside of that egg. So the fresher eggs have less air, and the older eggs don't, is a very broad generalization.
And that's why I say if it floats any, don't do it.
Yeah.
That ain't right.
And according to the stuff that I was reading, it does not work on quail eggs.
Never tried it on quail eggs. They don't last long for me.
No. Now, when I'm boiling them, hard boiling them, then if they float, I just throw them in the field pile. But I just figure if there's that much air in there that they're floating, there's not enough egg in there to worry about peeling. They're already a pain to peel anyway.
Unless you got one of them handy dandy electric peelers. They're
I
pretty
do
nice.
have one.
They're nice.
They
It's still a pain in the butt though.
But if they're floating, I still don't want to peel them because then half-size quail egg. Come on.
Nope. If
All right,
I
what's
buy
next?
eggs, if I buy eggs and a hen, will she hatch them? There's another
I guess if she's
10 million
pretty.
different options. If it's a silky, who is a breed that is notoriously known for being broody, you got a really good chance. A really good chance. If it's a standard bred Rhode Island Red or probably one of your Orpingtons, probably not going to be broody.
So first of all, you have to have a broody hen. So just because you have a hen doesn't necessarily make her broody. And I guess we didn't put broody on this list. Nobody asked us about broody. Broody means that a hen wants to hatch eggs, that she's ready to set.
Yeah.
So if you can't just hand me an egg and I'll have a baby in a few months.
Here's 3 eggs, and I'm going to hand you a chicken upside down with some by the legs. Here, go hatch these. Yeah, that don't work.
Yeah, no, that's not going to work. You need an incubator.
And we both have links to incubators on our sites, ranging anywhere from $25 to $2,500.
Or wait until the hen does go broody and then try to find eggs. Try to time it correctly.
Yep, you can do that. All right. What is the difference? Oh, this is a good one. What is the difference between hardware cloth and chicken wire? So chicken wire is that octagon shape stuff that is about as thick as 2, maybe 3 hairs. And so a hardware cloth is like locking a door. It's there to make you feel good like you tried, but it's really not going to do the trick. It's something trying to get in. Or the chicken wire. Now, hardware cloth is made out of actual real metal. The wires are typically welded together. Is 3-4 times thicker than chicken wire?
Yep.
At least. Typically got squares or maybe rectangle shapes. I can tell you from firsthand experience, chicken wire will not keep a raccoon out of your chicken pen.
Correct.
What it will do is keep the chickens inside the pen so the raccoon doesn't have to chase them very far when he gets in. However, hardware cloth will keep a raccoon out.
Yes.
That's my experience. Hardware cloth is a pain in the butt to work with because it is so thick and durable. And pro tip on hardware cloth, if you paint it black from a distance, it's like it disappears. What's your thought?
Wear gloves.
Oh,
It will tear your hands up.
Especially some of the cheaper stuff that you find on Amazon, like the ends of it. I got some out one time, and I love Amazon. And like my hands were bleeding within 2 or 3 minutes. I was like, oh, bump this. I went, washed my hands, got them to quit bleeding, and I put some gloves on. And I hate gloves.
Yeah, leather gloves. Yeah, I personally buy my hardware cloth off of Amazon, but I am done building. I don't want any more stuff. I have enough. I believe I have 32 pens at this point, and I don't need any more. I'm done. That part of my life is over. But that was the cheapest place to buy it.
32 pens, you can do a thing or two with that.
Yeah. If you are just getting started and you're going to be using a lot of hardware cloth, there is these nifty cutters that go on your drill. They're not expensive. I want to say 20-ish bucks or so.
And they work real good.
Right through the hardware cloth like butter.
Another thing that works really well there's a type of scissors that people that do vinyl siding use.
We have some.
And that's what I started cutting mine with. My wife's dad, he was in the trades for a lot of years, and he saw me putting one together, and he was like, dude, you're doing it wrong. Do you got any snips? And I was like, yeah. He said, use them. They're made for vinyl siding. He goes, that stuff ain't much thicker than vinyl siding. Touche. It'll go through them just like scissors would.
Yeah. Now, if you're using your regular old household scissors to cut through it, which you can do with chicken wire, then throw it away and order hardware cloth. Because if you can cut it with regular old scissors, then raccoon claws will go through it.
Oh, yeah. Especially your neighbor's dog.
Oh, yep.
Oh, here's one that's could have a multiple choice answer or multiple part answer.
All right. When
a chicken falls over in my yard and fans the wing out, what is she doing? Is like, that they're asking for a margarita, right? Here's another one.
No, wait, I have to answer it. So she's just sunbathing. She's put her wing out so she can get the heat on her skin and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Sunbathing. So the other answers were right. They were asking for a margarita. This is one I see in all kinds of groups. And it's one of my favorites because sometimes I'm just like, Lord. Do I need a rooster to have eggs?
Yes.
She's lying, y'all. Is a lot like...
No, don't go there. Yeah, no, you don't need a rooster. A hen will lay an egg anyway.
I was going to say an independent woman. She don't need a man. No, you do not need a rooster to have eggs. However, if you do want to get an incubator or a broody hen and hatch them, she's going to need a man in her life.
Yes, you need a rooster for that.
You do need a rooster for fertilized eggs. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Ooh, here's one. What is the yellow stuff inside a bird's cavity? So after you've sleep, processed it, what's that yellow stuff?
Flavor packets.
That yellow stuff is what you pay money for around Thanksgiving and Christmas to buy in liquid format.
Yep. That is a true statement.
You melt that down and it becomes broth.
It's fat. Yeah,
it is. Technically, it's fat. That's where the other stuff comes from.
Yeah.
Ooh, my favorite. How do you fix the feathers on a bird? Now, folks, I'm going to tell you.
You comb it.
I was going to say you buy the good shampoo. What you do is you check what you're feeding the bird. You make sure it is at least close to the nutritional levels of protein, amino acids, vitamins, minerals, all that good stuff that the bird is supposed to have. If it is, you wait till it molts, because until them feathers are replaced, it's not happening.
Exactly.
Now, I will say if you've got like split feathers and stuff like that, some of that can be genetic. Some of it can also be that you fed them turkey starter instead of chick starter for way too long, and it started negatively affecting their kidneys and overloading their body with protein and messing them up. So that's really like a situation by situation thing. But if you're feeding them the proper feed, the only way you're going to fix that is wait till they molt.
Yeah, anything called quote unquote feather fixer is really a marketing thing. You have to wait for the molt for a new feather to come in, and that is your opportunity with your nutrition to get the proper feathering again. And then it's up to you to maintain that condition for a year. Well, you only get this shot once a year.
Yeah. Yeah. Once a year, and what comes back? It is what it is. All right. Let's see. What other questions do we have?
I have one. I see
What's
one in
that?
this. All right. How
What
about
is
the breed of Easter egger? What does it look like?
If you look in the nesting box, it looks like a rainbow.
Yeah.
But it's my understanding now. I'm no expert on Easter eggers, just like I'm not an expert on silkies. But you can make several different combinations of different breeds. And basically, you're making a mixture, and it changes the color of the eggs.
You are making an intentional barnyard mix.
Essentially, yes.
Yes, it is not a breed.
Because that basket looks
like
so
anything.
pretty.
It can literally look like anything, and it won't necessarily lay a pink or blue or green egg. It can still lay white or brown. You're just playing with the genetics.
That's it. Science experiments is another way to refer to them. Ooh. Sexing chicks. If it's got a B shape on its wing, it's a male.
Oh, bull.
Ooh, here's another one. Look, I had this guy last year. He was like, "Can I pick out my chicks?" I was like, I was at a trade show type deal. None of those chicks was going back to my farm, so I didn't care if he touched them or not. This guy was picking them up by their feet, holding them upside down. And he said the ones that try to get up are roosters, and the ones that just stay laying down are hens. And I'm like, if you think about, I don't know, I ain't seen him since. If you think about moving around 6-month-old birds or whatever, a lot of times the male birds will try to get back up when you're holding them upside down, and a lot of times the females don't. That ain't the exact science though, because I've had females try to fly when I was trying to hold them upside down to carry them from one pen to another. Like they tried flipping over and flying.
I had a good one. I was selling poults to some people. They came to pick them up, and she was holding them in her hand and letting the legs down between her fingers. I can't remember which way is which, but if the legs stayed dangling, it was one sex, and if they retracted them and tried to hold them up, it was the other.
Yeah, I've seen them like they'd pick them up and then hold them, and I'm like, what are you doing? Checking for future weight? Like you see what it's going to be like in the crock pot? I don't know. Let's see.
So wait, is there a way to sex the birds? The only true way would be auto sexing.
I was going to say there's two ways. You could auto sex, which that starts when you pair the birds together. You know what's going to come out. And the other way is, and I'm not a huge fan of vent sexing babies because it's pretty brutal, in my opinion. And their reproductive stuff hasn't really formed yet when they're a couple days old or right out of the hatcher. There's been times that I have ordered from commercial hatcheries all cockerel because I had a guy that he wanted to buy roosters that were ready to go in a crock pot. So I'm like, oh, cool. I'll get online. I get them things for 99 cents all day long. They'll send them to me happily because a lot of times people always want hens. So boom, it's a win because I know what it costs to feed that bird for about 12 weeks. Good to go. I've done that and I've got hens. So when they're that young, nothing's formed. So you don't know what's popping out, what's not.
So there's a diagram that floats around Facebook all the time where they're holding out the wing feather of a day-old chick or 3-day-old chick, and the feathers, the flight feathers, one's longer, one's shorter, one's longer, one's shorter. I hate that diagram. because
Mhm.
somebody took it out of the longer article, which is easily found and it's saved on my computer, but I can't tell you right at the moment what the name of it is. But it's only for a fast feathering large breed bird, like a Brahma or something. It's
Mhm.
not for every chick. It was
Right.
taken out of context. So find that, do a reverse image look, and that article will come up. But I wish people would quit sharing that darn diagram.
All right. Here's another one that I see a lot of people talking about using tree limbs for roost.
Not a fan.
See, like for me, if that tree limb is like the size of your fist, which is too big to be working with inside of a coop, it might be a little different. But I personally like 2x4s,
Mm.
horizontal. Yeah, horizontal, where the four part. Because even though it doesn't get really cold in Alabama, for those 3 days that we do have that are cold and our chance to get rid of all the mosquitoes, I want my birds to be able to squat down over their feet so their little toes don't get cold.
Mm-hmm. So the argument is on the other side is, well, when they were wild, they would get up in the trees and they would get on the limbs. That is a true statement. The part that is left out is they would pick the limb they wanted to be on. And they would probably pick a larger limb and the widest part closest to the main trunk of the tree.
Yep.
Whereas humans build small coops and pick small limbs that fit in their small coops. And
because they're easy.
Yes. And this does not service a bird well. You can also end up with a crooked keel bone, which is you're just going to have to research that on your own. We're not going to talk about it today. But if the bird is roosting crooked consistently, you can get a crooked keel bone. You could get a pendulous crop. There's a lot of issues. You could get frostbite. There's a lot of downsides to using a tree limb. So I would encourage you not to use one. Use a board. I mean, you can get boards pretty cheap. Just use a board.
I mean, anything, to be honest, you can go to job sites and find drops that people would probably let you pick up for nothing.
My favorite, one of my very best friends in Michigan asked me what to do about a coop when she was building a coop. And I told her to use sawhorses because then she could move them around where she wanted them, take them out and hose them off. So I've used sawhorses. I have sawhorses now. I mean, build them as tall as you want, as short as you want, whatever. They're easy to build out of scrap.
If you like going to garage sales, you can find used sawhorses there. You take the one where the top's been sliced up and down. You get you a really long screw, put you a flat 2x4 on top, screw it down where it can get a hold of something. You're good. Mm. I've also found aluminum ones that looked like they'd been beat up and dragged behind a car at yard sales, but they worked really well too. I have some of those in one of my grow outs and they love them.
That would be fine for us down here. But
I wouldn't do that up north.
No, don't do metal up north.
Yeah. Now, if you're further north in Tennessee, don't use the metal ones. Best substrate in a coop.
Peat moss.
I got to go next week and pick some up because I finally have some empty breeding pens.
No.
Yeah. So I'm going to, over the next couple of months, play musical pens.
I started mine today.
I got me an electric rotor tiller that's really quiet. And I'm going to run that thing and turn the ground and throw some lime and turn the ground and do all that mess and fix it.
Good.
Supplements. People ask tons of questions about supplements.
They do. So let's just start at the chick stage. The only thing I ever put in water, there's two things I put in water. The first week that I have a chick, regardless of species, they get a starter tonic from Moonlight Mile Herbal Farm. I have been using her natural stuff for probably 10 years at this point. I buy enough once a year to last me for a year. Maybe one day I'll buy enough and she'll give me the recipe. But I swear by her starter tonic. It's just fantastic probiotics. They get that for a week, they're good to go. And then the rest of the time, I have a garlic, oregano, ACV stands for apple cider vinegar, by the way. ACV, garlic, oregano, ACV. That's it. And it sits in water and it steeps. And it steeps and it just sits there in my barn fridge constantly. I just add to it. If I use some, I just put some more stuff in there. But it doesn't take a whole lot. I just put like a 2-second pour per gallon whenever it's time of stress. So we're actually having a cold snap here this week. So I probably will give them some tomorrow. And all of they're molting. They're already stressed. So I'll just add some to their water just for an immune booster while the weather's changing. That's it. I don't add anything else to their water. Good, clean water is all they need.
I'm a huge fan of good, clean water.
Yeah. As for feed supplements, first of all, don't try to fix cheap feed. Buy good quality feed. And then you can do supplements on top of it. No matter how good the feed is, it's still a commercial feed. I still use a breeder supplement during breeding season on top of it. It just gives the chicks much more vigor and it helps the hens through the season. But that's all I do. Carrie's better at that than I am. I'm a lazy supplement person, but I do have it and I do use it.
Yeah, I used to use supplements and good feed. Then I started making my own feed. And that's a whole nother show.
Yep.
All right. That is all the questions we have for today. We appreciate y'all listening. Till next time, y'all have a good one.
See ya.